Good day, this is Professor Will, CBMG PhD. It is Tuesday, March 8, 2022. It is 12:57 and 54 seconds, a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today's research, lead exposure. So let's hop to it here. Lead exposure in last century shrank IQ scores of half of Americans. Study finds lead in gasoline calculated to have stolen more than 800 million cumulative IQ points since the 1940s. Date March 7, 2022. Source, Duke University. Researchers calculate that exposure to car exhaust from lead and gas during childhood stole a collective 824 million IQ points from over 170 million Americans alive today, more than half of the population of the United States. In 1923, lead was first added to gasoline to help keep car engines healthy. However, automotive health came at the great expense of our own health and well-being. Americans born before 1996 may now be at greater risk for lead-related health problems, such as faster aging of the brain. Lead in gas for cars was banned in the U.S. in 1996, but the researchers say that anyone born before the end of the era, and especially those at the peak of its use in the 1960s and 1970s, had concerningly high lead exposures as children. Lead is neurotoxic and can erode brain cells after it enters the body. As such, there is no safe level of exposure at any point in life, health experts say. Young children are especially vulnerable to lead's ability to impair brain development and lower cognitive ability. Unfortunately, no matter what age, our brains are ill-equipped for keeping it at bay. Lead is able to reach the bloodstream once it is inhaled as dust, or ingested, or consumed in water. In the bloodstream, it is able to pass into the brain through the blood-brain barrier, which is quite good at keeping a lot of toxicants and pathogens out of the brain, but not all of them. One major way used to invade bloodstreams was through automobile exhaust. And to answer the complex question of how lead and gas, used for more than 70 years, may have left a permanent mark on human health, using publicly available data on U.S. childhood blood lead levels, lead and gas use, and population statistics, they determine the likely lifelong burden of lead exposure carried by every American alive in 2015. From this data, they estimated lead's assault on our intelligence by calculating IQ points lost from lead and gas exposure as a proxy for its harmful impact on public health. As of 2015, more than 170 million Americans, more than half of the U.S. population, had clinically concerning levels of lead in their bloodstream when they were children, likely resulting in lower IQs and putting them at higher risk for other long-term health impairments, such as reduced brain size, greater likelihood of mental illness, and increased cardiovascular disease in adulthood. Lead in gasoline consumption rose rapidly in the early 1960s and peaked in the 1970s. Researchers found that essentially everyone born during those 2 decades are all but guaranteed to have been exposed to pernicious levels of lead from car exhaust. The researchers calculated that at its worst, people born in the mid-late 1960s may have lost up to 6 IQ points, and children registering the highest levels of lead in their blood, 8 times the current minimum level to initiate clinical concern, parents even worse, potentially losing more than 7 IQ points on average. Dropping a few IQ points may seem negligible, but the authors know that these changes are dramatic enough to potentially shift people with below average cognitive ability, IQ score less than 85, to being classified as having an intellectual disability, IQ score below 70. Researchers analyzing the racial disparities of childhood lead exposure, hoping to highlight the health inequalities suffered by black children who were exposed more often to lead and in greater quantities than white children. The next step will be to examine the long-term consequences of past lead exposure on brain health in old age. Based on previous findings that adults with high childhood lead exposure may experience accelerated brain aging, millions of us are walking around with a history of lead exposure. It is not like you got into a car accident and had a rotator cuff tear that heals, and then you are fine. It appears to be an insult carried in the body in different ways that we are still trying to understand, but that can have implications for life. Good day, this is Professor Wills, MD, PhD, on microbiology, bioinformatics, and pathophysiology. This video was created for educational purposes only. Hope you enjoyed listening. Until next time, have a great day.